Welcome.
Attention, please.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the No Comfort Zone podcast. It's time to get out of your comfort zone and live on purpose. Broadcasting to the world from Rockford, Illinois. This is your wake-up call.
Warning.
You are the solutions to all your problems. Stop thinking average. Become the hero version of yourself. Every day, every time, without fail, no exceptions. It all matters. You've entered the No Comfort Zone. It's time for a reality check.
In case there's any question, the goal of the No Comfort Zone podcast, the blueprint, the book, the workbook, the webinar, the seminars, and everything that I do when it comes to the No Comfort Zone, it comes down to one really important thing. The goal of the No Comfort Zone is to basically wake you up. You need to get off autopilot if you want to start accomplishing your goals, your dreams, and ambitions. And you need to start living with intention. And even as I'm stuttering as I'm speaking to you right now, there's some things that I think that you should know. In step 3 of the blueprint, step 3 of the blueprint has to deal with getting the knowledge that you need, having the correct attitude that you must have to be successful, the skills that you're going to need to hone in on and work on continually every day, every time, without fail, no exceptions, and what habits do you currently have. Right now, I'm in the process of going through my no comfort zone, a challenge that I put aside for myself, and I periodically go through these to get myself to wake up from what I'm doing, to put myself into a place where I can intentionally go after my goals. Rather than just throw more hard work at it, I'm really trying to change my immediate reality by focusing on where I'm currently at now, identifying where it is I want to go, deciding what it is that I really want out of my life in that area, and then applying massive action to that space. And that's step 1 of the blueprint. Why do I keep talking about this? Because truth be told is that when I was going through that really hard time in my life, and the really hard time was the fact after the coma, after the financial ruin, after the loneliness and all of that other stuff, I just had a chance to kind of really check in and find out, man, life is not at all what I thought it would be. And I started playing the role of a victim. When I started to turn things around and realize that I can't live like this forever, there has to be more. Life's not supposed to be this painful or this lonely or this challenging. It really isn't. So I had to change my mindset. And that's where I came up with the AIDA, the attitude, identify, decide, and take action. And it's really come a long way for me. So I've created this whole movement based on just the AIDA. But step 3, and I'm going to jump right to step 3, has to do with the knowledge, the attitude, and the skills and the habits. So I want to talk to you about this for a minute, because even though I do this podcast and I just kind of ad lib, I just throw the mic in my phone and I just start going for it. And my hope is that it's going to either inspire, motivate you, create some sort of a call to action, or even with the intro and the outro, a reality check. It's time to get out of your comfort zone and start living on purpose, where you can connect with me out on social media. It's all on purpose with the intention to truly help you get where it is you want to go in your life. But you're going to have to know. And when you know what you're going to have to do, because maybe the people around you need to step up in that space, or where it's you think that where you should go. I had the worst time getting into sales because I'm relatively a shy person. People that know me, really know me, know that I'm a shy person, and I really don't like getting out too much. I'm very outgoing, but I'm very shy. And what do I mean by that? I'm very concerned about what I say. I'm very concerned about how I come across to people, and I care very much about people's opinion of me. It's something I need to work on daily. I'm just not that guy that can go out there and just say, I don't care about anybody. Because I try to connect with everybody, and that can be a little overwhelming. It falls into the people-pleasing category. So when I decided that I wanted to get into sales, and I thought that was a good way to earn money, solve people's problems, become wealthy doing it, I just thought it was fantastic, and it was a good fit to me because I do like people. But being a people pleaser and worrying about what people think about me is really tough when you're in sales. So what must happen is you got to have your ability to confront yourself and your customer, and confront not in a negative way, but just in a very assertive way. I was terrified to greet people. I was terrified to walk up to somebody that I didn't even know and actually get into a conversation with them, establish rapport, and then show value in something that they came in for and answer questions about it. Completely terrified. But what I did was I started practicing over and over again what I would say. So when I got in front of somebody, I would lock up or almost black out because I was so nervous. Yeah, and this is even after being in the Marines, learning about bearing, learning how to communicate, learning how to be a really good Marine. Even after all that, I was still terrified to do this. But I know if I wanted to be successful in my life in one way, shape, or form, I'm going to have to get out of this shyness. And being the title of being called a Marine wasn't enough. I needed to start applying what I learned there and start getting out of my comfort zone and start greeting people so that I could become a better version of myself. It's always been my goal that I was so nervous about greeting people that I've always wanted to have this goal that I wanted to greet somebody so confidently, so comfortably, so casually, and so welcomely, if that's even a word, that I could do it in front of 10,000 people and the crowd would cheer when I'm all done. That's how important it was to me. And as silly as that sounds now, back then it was the only thing I wanted to do. So I worked on my greeting constantly in the mirror. I wrote it down on index cards. I practiced, drilled, and rehearsed all these different types of greeting. And to this day, I think it's one of the number one things that I did, that initial greeting in sales, that helped me so much. But why am I talking about this now? Because I had to develop the skill. I had to gain the knowledge. I had to have the right attitude. And then at some point, it had to become a habit. Just like I developed a good habit when it came to greeting customers, which I think I'm extremely proficient at now, in disarming people and welcoming them and making them feel at ease and being casually confident in the process. The same thing's true with other habits. I developed other habits that have been very bad habits: procrastination, distraction. I get distracted so easily, I got to keep myself on point. And one of the reasons why I teach this no comfort zone method is because I have individual challenge with this stuff on a regular basis. Maybe this might help you too, and that's my hope, is to help you. So check this out. Now I got past the greeting stage, and now I remember I had to train salespeople because I got good in certain areas, and they said, well, Dan, if you want to help your sales team, maybe train them a little bit. So I did, and I read out of a book, and it was miserable, and I was humiliated. My team members, they thought I was terrible at it. So I committed to get better. And then I realized when it came to public speaking, and this is a lesson when it comes to public speaking, you can sure introduce yourself. You can tell a nice icebreaker joke. It's all great stuff, all great. It's all in the delivery. You could screw up really bad, but it's all in the delivery. And what I realized is by asking the questions to the crowd, what I found is I would get a favorable response if I asked a favorable question. If I knew my audience and I knew why they were there, let's say it was they were trying to learn how to sell. They were trying to learn how to manage. I would ask a question relative to why they're there. Wouldn't it be great if you had a process that could actually take your managers and turn them into leaders? Who in the room would like to actually take a manager and turn them into a leader? Wouldn't it be great to have people that would actually, or here I would ask this to salespeople all the time, who in this room wants to sell more? Who in this room wants to make more? Who wants to make more, do more, have more, and actually have a total fun time doing it, in less time than everyone else is doing it? And when I would ask this question or these type of questions, I would get extremely favorable responses. By getting favorable responses in the beginning, I realized that I need to get better the next time I'm going to do the training. I would have to get better at the next persons I'm going to talk to. And when it came to whether it was sales training, management training, leadership training, when it came to process development, all of these different things, I had to develop the skill to do that. And even as I'm talking to you right now, I'm obviously not in my car this time. Hopefully you hear that I'm not. But I'm actually in a room where I practice in front of the mirror. And sometimes I'll spend an hour or two in front of the mirror developing how I'm going to come across as a speaker. Because quite frankly, I don't want to be distracting the audience based on my lack of professionalism or my lack of preparedness. But I want to be really authentic. I want to be really genuine. And I want to be very relevant. I really want the audience to know who I am as a person, that I'm very real, and that I want to share with them that I have a process or something that might help them. And the reason why they're listening to me is of great value. And they're not distracted by my, but like I said, not being prepared. So when I do these podcasts, you're getting it straight from me. You're straight from the heart. There's no practicing. There is no script. There's just me talking to you about what do you have to do in order to get where it is you want to go. I wanted to become a better public speaker. So what I ended up having to do is I had to really practice, drill, and rehearse constantly While everybody was resting, relaxing, I was the one who was continually practicing and trying to better my craft. And overdoing it over a long period of time, I developed some pretty good habits. Now I'm a little rusty because I don't do it as much, but when I get myself back into that training mode as I am now, things start to get a little bit better. Things get better for me in the long run, and what ends up happening is my audience has a better experience. So what does it have to do with the knowledge, the attitude, the skills, and the habits? Break it down for yourself, whatever it is for you. My example was I wanted to become a better speaker, so I had to work on my knowledge. I had to realize that in order to get an audience to start to come my way, I have to ask better questions or leading questions to get them engaged into the conversation or the open forum that we're going to have. So I can talk to a room of 300 people, and it's going to feel like I'm talking to one individual in the room. And that's my goal, to really connect with one or two people in the room, but yet 300 people in the room. And I really do try to connect with everybody. And if you come to one of my events, you'll see that. I really try to make it very personable and very personal and extremely intimate. And quite frankly, I think the audience knows that, and we have a good time. And it's kind of a cool thing to see or witness. But if I know I have to work on the knowledge in order of what questions I'm going to have to ask or how I'm going to have to prepare, I also have to work on my attitude that I am confident. I do know what I'm talking about. I am an expert on the subject matter at hand. And that's the reason why they invited me there, or that's the reason why people are there to see me. And they're expecting to get some solid information. And I have to have the attitude that I am worthy and I am worthwhile. The skills. How do you develop the skills? It's just repetition, constantly doing things over and over again, whether it's a recorder, whether it's a mirror, whether it's in front of a few people that are close to me and they can critique me, whatever it is. But the truth be told, like I'm working on right now, is my habits. I don't want to go on autopilot anymore. I want you to stop going on autopilot. I want you to decide what it is you want to do. Break the pattern of predictability. And what you're going to have to do truly is to break your habits. You're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. And the get out of your comfort zone isn't just a buzz line. It's an actual thing that you do. The AIDA. So I hope this podcast served you. I hope going through my salesmanship and my public speaking transformation helped you a little bit. It's very brief. I talk about it a little bit more so in the book. And I really do. I want you more than anything to realize that you can be successful if you put your intention into one place, and if you work on your knowledge, your attitude, your skills, and your habits. You can have more, you will be more, and you will do more. Get out of your comfort zone and live on purpose.
Say goodbye.
Want more of the No Comfort Zone? You can follow Dan on Instagram and Twitter at NoComfortZone1.
Bye.
Or on the web at thenocomfortzone.com.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the No Comfort Zone podcast.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.